I think these 50 Shades films are comfortable. They're comfortable. I feel like they're not too overwhelming to the point where I want to turn them off, and I feel like they're not too cheesy to the point where I just can't take it seriously. But I think it falls right in the middle. I still think it's very theatrical and dramatic, like more than I feel like average. But I also understand that it could be just because of the genre and just the type of film that it is. I think with films like these, chemistry is so important because the energy between the two leads have to be balanced, or it can really, really go wrong. But I think that they match each other's energy so well. You know, like no one is overacting the other person, I feel like. And I like that. They're also equally sexy. And the soundtrack to all of these films, it's full of bangers, like really, really, really great songs. And that I feel like is what I love the most about these movies are the soundtracks. Because I really think the soundtracks tell the story better than the actual like films do and the screenplay, than the dialogue or even the characters. The music that they chose is so dominant. I feel like low-key maybe the story would have popped out a little bit more for me. It wouldn't have been so surface level. Or maybe its one-dimensional quality wouldn't have been so loud and evident if the soundtrack was a little bit more subtle and wasn't such a statement. Like, they have freaking Beyonce remixing her own song. Like, what? It's just overpowering the like actual work for me. I think I just feel like the music should have been a little bit more basic, because the music being so good, it makes the story basic is really what I'm trying to say. For me, that's just how it feels. I think the story is also like super unrealistic, but it works, you know what I mean? It works because it plays out in your head the most optimistic way. And it's just like not even based in reality a little bit. Maybe for someone somewhere. But ultimately, it's a very romanticized idea of a connection. But maybe I like that about it. Because it's not reality. It's a little bit exaggerated. And I feel like I talked about that already. How it's theatrical and it's dramatic in general. The cinematography feels very warm, but still practical. So does the directing. The directing is so sharp. The directing is very, very sharp. It's sharp and it cuts sometimes because it's so sharp, and it makes the experience just a little bit less enjoyable, because when the lines like are delivered, it's almost a little bit too much. I feel like it's just the delivery is really aggressive. I feel like if we had pulled back just a little bit, it maybe would have been a little bit less like the experience that I'm trying to describe is that there's certain things that Christian says to Anastasia that should feel like natural when he says it, but it doesn't feel natural. It just feels like he's blurting it out. And like maybe I get it, that could just be the character, but it doesn't feel smooth, you know? Like the movie wasn't smooth. It was very directed and calculated, and I felt like they could have just made some of the transitions a little bit smoother and easier. And when I say transitions, I don't even just mean like from shot to shot or frame to frame. I mean more like the transition between topics and subject matter. It was so sharp. And it just didn't flow like natural conversation to me, which I think made their chemistry a little bit less, it just made it shine a little bit less for me. That was so particular. Everything that I had just said, but that's because I'm really detailed and I just pay attention. And these movies fascinate me because they just are exactly what I envisioned this type of romance to be like. Okay, I think that's all.